Hello, my beauties. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm running a little bit late, as per my dyslexic self. Hello, hello, hello. And I wanted to start at about 2:30, so I'm running late. If you were waiting, I apologize. And let me just check that everything is coming through on over on YouTube. So hang on one second. And then I've got to mute it because let's see. Yeah, how are you guys? Say hello as you come in. You know what? I'm not even going to check YouTube because I'm just going to trust it. Hey, hello, hello, hello. How are you? I am sorry I'm running late, and we're always moisturizing. It's like, oh my gosh, I've got to be ready. Who's here? Who's here? Greetings. Welcome, welcome. Say hi. Say hi in the live chat. And you can always say hi also in the, hold on, folks, I'm going to clean my glasses. You can always say hi in the comments. How are you? How are you doing? Guys, I want it to be fresh for you. I went out and I was like exercising. My glasses are really dirty. Hopefully it won't show on the camera. I always use the analogy of Rocky, but like I was running a little, then I walk, then I run, and then I went over by the water, and there are these kind of big, like 2-foot tall rocks by like 4 foot, these big rocks, and I'm like doing steps and side bends and squats. I'm like, God, I hope nobody's really watching me do this. How are you? Say hello. Say hello. It's rude to not say hello if you are here. Okay. Welcome to my channel. I am Viv. Sometimes I go by Yogini Viv. I used to go by the spiritual name Kala. Hey, Agnes. Mwah. Welcome, welcome. Agnes from Cleveland. Very nice. I have a friend who is from Cleveland. Long time person who I think kind of came up in Cleveland and is still in Ohio. So welcome. I've never been to Cleveland. I haven't really been to the Midwest, to be honest with you. I'm one of those, I'm like East Coast person. Always love the East Coast. Do you guys like my earrings? I feel like they don't show so much if I'm like this, but I really like them. See? Kind of silvery, and they're big. Isn't that pretty? And hold on, I gotta fix one thing. This drives me crazy. All right. I should just like pin it, but instead of just having it like that. All right, what are we going to talk about? Hey, I see the numbers going up. Welcome. Say hi and hello. Welcome, welcome. This is live. I am not an AI. I am not a bot. You can tell because bots would just be more fake. All right, let me see if I can open my notes, right? The bots would be speaking to you like this, and they would not go, they wouldn't clear their throat because they're a bot. All right. The topic today is, are we ignoring our stress? All right. And I am probably going to bring some Mars energy to this. I'm going to be talking about, are we ignoring our stress? Now, this might trigger some of you genuinely. All right. So if you feel very delicate today, I would still say watch, because I'm going to just really dive in. And I want to start by sharing what I put in my notes. My notes is recording me still, but okay. So why am I interested in this topic? Hey, House of Brown, LeBron, peace and greetings. Yeah, where are you? From Georgia. Okay, welcome, welcome, Smyrna. I've heard of Smyrna, Georgia. I don't know why. I mean, the U.S. is big. Now, you guys got to remember, I have folks who watch me from all over the world, so and they may not realize how big America is, but I have heard of Smyrna for sure. Welcome. So, are we ignoring our stress? Okay, so what motivated me? First of all, I just want to say that my YouTube channel, it's not a hobby. I'm not 16, obviously. I'm not like in my 20s where I just want to have numbers and followers. This is really the work I do, okay? That's important for you to know because that kind of impacts, I think, how you'll watch my channel. Okay. Yeah. Okay. It's outside of Atlanta. That's probably why I've heard of it. Okay. Um, so I didn't realize it was that close to Atlanta. And if you have a channel you want folks to go to, say something and I will put you up on the screen here. Like I said, my voice is still, the voice recorder is still recording me. So my mission is really it's multiples, but I really feel my mission is to help women primarily. And then maybe I'd say midlife goddesses, right? Midlife is not what it was. Let's say 50s, 60s is not what your grandmother's 60 was. Like we know that. A 60-year-old woman now, 50-year-old, 45-year-old is not what your great grandma, because their lives, they just, you see those old pictures and they had like hard lives. All right. So that's kind of also my focus. Now, as a Black woman, as being from the Caribbean, it just all informs obviously who I am. But my primarily focus is on helping women with wellness, their stress, getting that base level, which is what I'm going to talk about today, and then getting to the woo-woo, getting to the spiritual level. So goddesses, if you take nothing else from this, 52, yes, that's a beautiful age, right? We're coming into our wisdom. The beauty is getting older is beautiful because if we can maintain our health. And so that's what I want to talk about is I think a lot of us, and here I'm going to say specifically Black women more. Hold on, it's wanting me to do my face ID, which is so creepy, guys, right? The face ID. I think a lot of us Black women are ignoring our stress. So this came up because of some clients and potential clients I was talking to. Okay, so now you will never hear my clients' names mentioned. I change any identifying info. I usually don't give enough, but this is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm observing. Okay, for those of you in the future watching, I'm observing us say things like, I'm really, really stressed. We identify the level of stress, and I'm going to talk about that. But then when it's time to really say, okay, I'm going to do something about this, it's like, well, I'm not that stressed now. My stress is better. My stress is better. So what does that mean? My stress is better. Better than what? Better than what? So many of us are ignoring our stress. We are ignoring our stress. Yes, I do teach yoga. And I especially am wanting to teach that within my new-ish community. So House of Brown, if you're interested in that, join my email list, which you can get to. I'm going to put a link here because I don't want to jump around too much, but let me just continue sharing on this. So I think a lot of, especially Black and brown women, we normalize our stress. So I'm going to go over what are 3 types of stress right now with you. One of them surprised me, okay? And I will share that with you. So acute stress. So, and I'm reading from, this is courtesy of the Cleveland Clinic in America, in the US. So acute stress is short-term, right? Short-term stress. I was aware of that, with clients, with myself. So it means it's something, it's just going to have a short life to it. So they give an example when you're riding a roller coaster. I did that once in my life, people, and that was stressful. It was not fun for me. It was stressful. Or they get having a fight with your boyfriend. That's acute stress. Okay. Now, to me, acute stress could last longer than just short incidents, but it's short term. Now, this is the type of stress that I think many of us are under that I didn't say as a separate category, and they're calling it episodic acute stress. Episodic, let me see if I can copy it and put it in the chat. Then maybe it can show on the screen. Episodic acute stress, right? So episode. I'm like, okay. And this is how they define it. Episodic acute stress is when you experience acute stress on a regular basis. I'm like, okay, it's acute stress, but it's regular. So check this out. With this kind of stress, which is what I'm saying, I think many of you are under and not realizing it. With this kind of stress, you don't ever get the time you need. I'm going to put this in the chat. Hopefully Cleveland Clinic won't come after me for copyright. Okay. Here, and then hopefully I can put it on the screen. Let's see if I can put it on the screen. This kind of stress, you don't ever get the time to return to a calm or relaxed state. I think many of us are experiencing that. That's what we're experiencing is episodic stress. And then finally, it says episodic stress, right, affects people working in certain professions like healthcare. Think of nurses, think of doctors, look back especially at COVID, but any, medical system that's under stress, right? And they work super long days. And I know many of you do work in healthcare, whether you're a nurse or a nurse's aide or whatever, or a doctor, right? So episodic stress, it's acute stress, but it keeps happening and you don't have recovery time. So what I'm saying to you assertively is many of you need to stop normalizing that level of stress. Now, my regulars know that I've been through all these stages: acute, episodic acute, like when I was teaching, right? So they talk about healthcare providers, but can you share with me? I was trying to think of what other professions have episodic acute stress that are common professions. I mean, I would think even teachers, because let's talk about school shootings. Again, for my American viewers, school shootings are becoming normalized. We have one vice presidential candidate saying, now he did say unfortunately, or I'm sorry that school shootings are now a fact of life. This should not be a fact of life, okay? So if you're a teacher, episodic acute stress. And then let me go on to the final type of stress, okay? And I can always double back. Let me know in the comments what you think. Give me your feedback. Are you in a profession, goddess, that is where you suffer episodic acute stress or you see others? Before I go on, actually, I had a dear friend. We've lost touch a little bit. She was a teacher in a inner city school. I had a lot of social work friends also in the past. They definitely had the episodic acute stress. So my friend who was the teacher, God bless her, really sweet, an artist. And she was having a terrible time with the students, the classroom management. And at one point, and I still don't get this, but I think she was in a basement room because she said one of the students turned out the lights. So she was in the dark with the students going nuts. And I'm like, well, there were windows, but I, as she told it, I don't think there were, which I don't, because to me, there'd still have been some light, but she made it sound like the room went completely dark. And she ended up getting out into the hallway and just having a panic attack, guys. She was in the staircase and somebody came and found her and was they took over the classroom, whatever, all those details. So we also have chronic stress. Chronic stress is long-term stress, according to Cleveland Clinic, that goes on for weeks or months. So let me know, are you having stress? I won't put it on the screen, okay? I won't. Let me take this off. Okay, property management, can that be very stressful because you're dealing with tenants? You're dealing with tenants, right? I could see that because I know in some places, especially in some states, it can be very hard to get rid of tenants who are, for whatever reason, not paying or just breaking things, partying, doing drugs, just damaging property. So are you in a profession that you see has the episodic acute stress? Let me know. And let's also talk about the long-term stress, all right? So the two I was familiar with was acute stress and chronic. And to me, I blended the acute and then over time it became chronic. So they give examples of chronic stress. And again, especially Black women and Black and brown women especially, but of course this can affect any woman. I think a lot of it is socioeconomic class, but even a lot of sisters in corporate are experiencing this. So the examples that Cleveland Clinic gives, okay, of chronic stress is it can be due to marriage troubles. So obviously that can be going on for years. I've never been married, but I have observed marriages. I've seen my parents' marriage. As I said, I'm not married. Marriage troubles can cause chronic stress. Issues at work, which tends to be my focus when I work with clients. It's the toxic work, it's stress at work, bullying, that type of thing. Issues at work and financial problems. That is chronic stress. And they say, last part, I'll read to you what they say, Cleveland Clinic. It is important to find ways to manage chronic stress because it can lead to health issues. And that's why I care. I genuinely feel that many of you watching me, right? You know, I have a lot of subscribers, and then depends on the topic of the video, the amount of viewers, but tens into the hundreds, into sometimes the thousands of you watching. I think that many of you are minimizing your stress. Hi, Donna. Oh, okay. Let's see. Yes. Okay. I hope you don't mind I put that. The stress of eviction, delinquency, it really affected you. Right. So you were in property management. You know, to be really honest, I wouldn't have thought of it as one of the high stress professions. I really wouldn't have. I'm like, oh, they're in the office. When I think of my property management that I've seen, they're in the office. They're like, yeah, this is your rental contract. You know, we just sign here and here and here, you know, and we need you. We'll take your check now for your deposit or whatever. This is back in the day. So House of Brown, I did not know. I wouldn't have thought of that as a high stress profession. Hey, Donna. So we're talking about, and I want to really bring to your awareness. That's why I'm bringing a lot of fire, because it upsets me, because many of you should be investing in working with me. And here I am going to mention my program. It is a low-cost program. I'm going to tell you the price right now. It's $129. Okay. Most of you can afford $129. Now, if you cannot, you can write me, and an assistant, I'm going to put it in the chat and be like, Viv, I'm really interested in learning meditation, and I'm interested in learning the acupressure points for stress, for sleep, for healing that you teach in your program. And we'll see if we can give you, if you are low income, right, how I can work with you and give you a break. All right. So assistant at intheflowofmagic.com. Because this is what I'm going to tell you. So I was talking to a woman, I want to say, yeah, okay. So I'm going to leave out those details, but you know, with grown kids, very youthful as we are, you could not tell her age, right? And she was, and this was about one-on-one coaching. Okay. So this is why this matters. And she was telling me her level of stress. And I asked on the form, what is your level of stress? I want to say it was like an 8. And so she's experiencing financial difficulties, but she was now saying to me, it's not that, but my stress is better. Now, if you recently, you have multiple jobs, you had to let go of a job, you're now in a state of financial distress, but you're saying my stress is better. Do you feel what I'm saying? Is that true? Is that true? So I'm giving an example of a certain case, right? It's like, oh no, I'm not as stressed as when I talk to you. So that is when we are not taking care of ourselves and we're not valuing it ourselves. And that's what I think. I'm going to get a little savage here. Is our earning power in part related to our sense of our own worth? Because what I hear this woman saying is, she didn't say to me, Viv, can we work out a payment plan? And certainly this was, like I said, this was for private coaching. I then invited her to the group because I said, actually, the group would probably be better for you, right? And, you know, maybe that's you, maybe you're thinking of it. It's 8 sessions, and I teach you how to meditate for stress. I promise you that from the first session, you're going to feel amazing. So it takes care of the acute stress. And then as you practice, which you have to do, because I was planning what I was going to say to you guys. I'm like, I can't make you do the practices that I will teach you and show you and that we'll do together. But if you do them, if you invest in your self-love and your self-care, I can promise you that your stress level will decrease over time, and you'll have a lifetime, and you'll have, sorry about that, guys, I might have dropped. You'll have a lifetime of skills, Okay, so let me break it down a little further. When I say, are you, especially my Black and brown sisters out there, are you ignoring your stress? So now let me quickly go into some signs. If you have a chronic illness, if you have a chronic illness, if you have a reproductive illness, and you're not doing something holistic, and I think you should be studying with me to learn how to meditate, to learn these skills, then you are ignoring your stress. So signs that you could be ignoring your stress are when your body is talking to you. Your body is talking to you. You have lupus, you have high blood pressure, you have IBS, you have endometriosis, you have PCOS or PCOS. These are signs that you are under stress. I'm going to stop there for a moment. I'm going to have my tea, practice what I preach. I'm going to have having some chamomile tea. Let me know in the chat. I will not put it. If you don't want me to put a comment up, let's see. Just put a number sign like this in front of your comment. Put like the number symbol. If you just want to share, but you don't want me to put it up, okay? So again, sisters, if you have lupus, you have high blood pressure, you have like chronic aches, chronic fatigue, irritable bowel, digestive issues, you are under stress. Do not minimize it. Do not say, oh, I'm not that stressed. What you're doing then is you're saying it's okay, that it is okay. All right? And it isn't okay. And I say that as a woman of a certain age now who can tell you, you do not want, right, going back to this Cleveland Clinic, you do not want your symptoms to become the chronic stress. And we know many, and I've said this before, but many of you haven't heard me say this. One of the markers of stress, goddesses, that is used by World Health Organizations and different like governmental health agencies around the world is the level of high blood pressure. And Black Americans have among like the highest levels of various nations. We have the highest levels, like very, very high levels of high blood pressure. It's basically what I'm saying is it's used as a marker of stress. And Black people have the really high levels of this. And again, it's used by different health organizations, not just in America, as ways to measure the stress of different nations. So if this is you, you need to really consider supporting my work by coming and taking the program I'm talking about at this point, and the main one that I will talk about in the future for stress, mindfulness meditation. All right. And I don't know if you know, I'm in the 28 days of mindfulness. I think I'm in day 3. Let's call this day 3. So yes, oops, dropped out again, people. My, hang on one second. My landlord's kids might be on the internet. Let me quit something really fast here. Let me quit something that's open on my computer. Okay, let me quit my notes. So I'm just sort of pleading with you to consider not just writing through it, not just being the strong Black woman, because then what you're going to have is you're going to have your health complaints, and you're going to be complaining about healthcare in America or healthcare in England or healthcare in Canada, and how these health issues, again, let me go through some common ones that Spirit is telling me to mention. Lupus, any autoimmune. What does it mean when your body is turning against itself? Autoimmune issues, right? High blood pressure, which I just talked to you about, heart disease. All of these are markers for stress. Of course, there are multiple causes, but stress is a huge part, and you know it. A lot of you watching know this. You know you're in a toxic job, okay? So those of you especially who are, like I said, they're corporate women, they're women in public service, you have a great paying job, but the job is killing you. Why are you not investing in learning the skills that I teach, that I promise will make a huge impact on your stress level? Why are you not investing? Think about that. Like, why is it not important to me? Especially if you watch my channel for years, you've been watching and you do the meditations. Why not come and learn with me in person live, right? I'm not talking about just some course where you're by yourself looking, reading. I take you through step by step, 4 different ways to practice mindfulness meditation. I take you through when to meditate, what are the signs that you should do this type of meditation versus you should do this type of more physical meditation. So yes, try yoga. So let me take, if you have questions, comments, and again, many of you are watching the replay. Many of you, you suffer from these health issues. Many of us have fibroids. Fibroids have a huge stress component, often from sexual trauma, reproductive trauma. Okay, I'm speaking to you. If you want a more long-term holistic care, then yes. I feel like meditation, it is cutting edge. So House of Brown, I'm just going to shorten it. Yes. Yoga, I think, especially in the Black community, is now obviously in the zeitgeist. We're paying attention to it. Meditation, I feel like, and I don't know, but I think this is true. I'm always ahead of my time. I've done this with various things where I move on. Let me explain what I mean. Like, I became a yoga teacher decades ago. I was literally like the one Black yoga. There were like 4 yoga teachers in New York City. I was one of them because we would see each other, right? I could see all the yoga teachers. There were like 3 or 4 African-American yoga teachers out of hundreds back in the day. So now we're like, yeah, I could do yoga. Meditation is the next step. All right. And so what I'm teaching is a blend of meditation, relaxation, and acupressure points like acupuncture that will help you stop your stress, help you with your sleep, and so on. It's a group. So, and it's more general points. If you work with me one-on-one, which is a bigger investment, then we just focus just on you. Okay. And we just focus on, okay, Viv, I've got irritable bowel. How can you help me to tailor this to my issue? Okay. Yoga is great. Yeah. So give me any questions. Yeah. Okay. So you're waking up with chronic lower back pain. Let me tell you, and this is something Western doctors will not tell you. I don't want to get in trouble, and YouTube can shadow ban, and I am not a doctor, but holistically, sometimes, how do I say this? Because it's not anything scary, but a lot of times that lower back pain is actually fatigue caused by a specific meridian energy that is low. I'm not going to get too much into it. You can book a free session with me. We can talk about it. I'm going to put that here, Viv as me. I can remember it, you guys, because it's easy. It can be. If it's sciatic, it's very sharp. It would be a sharp pain going down the buttocks as well if it's sciatica. If it's lower back, and if it's more of an ache, that is not sciatica. Sciatica is sharp. You could have both, though, goddess. You could have the sciatic nerve pains. Again, remember, I'm trained as a massage therapist. I was licensed. I stopped during COVID. Sciatica will tend to go down the kind of the main part of the buttocks through the glutes, right? And it's more sharp. Is that what you're having? Low back pain and more of an ache can be slightly different and can be related to an energy that is low, that is from fatigue, from pushing ourselves, and from chronic stress. So yeah, others, are you having particular things that are happening? If you're live here, go ahead and pick my brains. Oh, it goes down to your foot. Yeah, then that is, yes, you're absolutely right. Then that's very likely, that sounds like sciatic. Yeah. That's not good though, girl, because that's painful. I'm laughing because I'm like, yeah, no, she's right. That sounds like sciatic. Yeah. So it's being pinched. I have some thoughts on that. Goddess, what I would do is see if you can qualify, my love, for physical therapy. See if you can qualify for physical therapy. And again, not just to her, but anyone else watching this, that this can help. Sometimes if you go into your physician, because they can literally give you some stretches to, if I'm remembering in massage school, often it's literally that the muscles, it's really interesting. The nerve goes through 2 muscles, and the muscles, if they're tight, right? If your butt, because I'm remembering it now, again, I'm not a physician, this is talking as a massage therapist. The nerve can get squeezed, I think in the spine as well, but often it's at the muscle in the buttocks is tight and it'll squeeze the nerve and cause pain. So, yeah, no, that is intense. See if your doctor will write you a script for like four to eight. Because I'm looking this way because I'm looking at her question, at her thing, what she wrote. They'll often write you for physical therapy, and the physical therapist can show you stretches to help you. Okay, House? Definitely. But I also want you to consider that there's a stress component there. My sense is that your muscles are also tightening and creating some of that. Who else? If you have questions, comments, I can see the numbers. I know there are others of you here. Agnes, do you have a question, comment? Donna, do you have a question or comment? So again, don't ignore your stress. And how you know you have stress is if you have any physical illness, because every physical illness is a sign of dis-ease. And again, I'm not saying this from judgment at all. I'm saying this as someone who got into yoga. Why do you think I got into yoga and meditation? Because I suffered from anxiety and depression. Even at a young age, I was getting depressed. Okay, I was getting depressed at a young age. Now, many of you, if you are creative, you know creative children, and even our children right now, right? So many children. When I say children, I mean, I'm saying even 12, 16, they're suffering right now. They are just suffering. Yeah, good. Yeah. I'm telling you, they will, and then it'll be covered by insurance. If you have insurance, if that doctor will write you a script for physical therapy, then yeah, and they'll just teach you the right stretches because they're going to want to help you loosen the lower back, goddess, and loosen the buttocks, loosen the glutes. And I think it's gluteus maximus, of course, but there's also like gluteus minimus. They're different muscles. And like I said, they're overlapping like this, and the nerve is trying to pass and it's getting pinched. Or it could be being pinched, I think, higher up in the spine. But what I remember is more that it's often at the buttocks level. And that makes me think that you're having tension. And here's why. Hey, if you're just watching, I'm talking about, are we ignoring our stress and just minimizing it and be like, no, I'm fine, right? Your muscles, the gripping, the butt muscles, okay, you know I always bring something new. You didn't know this. Your ass muscles and the back of your legs, all right, are the fight or flight. When we are stressed, okay, when we are stressed, those muscles, what do those muscles do? Think about it. What is your butt muscles, your glutes, what do those muscles do? And your legs, what do they help you do if something were attacking you? I'm just going to drop it right there. Hold it for a second. What do those muscles do? The buttocks and the legs, especially through the back of the legs. Interestingly, that's kind of where it shows up. What do those muscles do? If you were under life or death situation, what would those muscles help you do? And I'm going to wait a little bit. All right, because I know you guys I want to see if anybody comes through with the answer. Put it in the chat. Like I said, I'm not trying to trigger you all. I'm trying to make you wake up. Okay, I'm going to go there. So the buttocks muscles, the glutes, the legs, and down to the feet would help you run. They would help you run away, fight or flight. Many of us, like I said, especially Black and brown women. But if you are human and you're in the United States and you're not stressed right now, then something is wrong for you, or you found a way, an escape. Okay, so the stress, those muscles are tensing and clenching because you are at the fight or flight level. Like this is almost like your feet, right? The toes, there's tension. Do any of you, and you don't have to put it in the chat, but just follow me, realize at night you're having cramps in your legs? That's because subconsciously, your subconscious, the primal part of your brain, it's more the back of the head, the back of the skull, is feeling fearful and wants to run, wants you to get away. All right. I am going to tell you the truth. This was happening for me some months ago. I don't know why it's not happening now, because with politics, things are getting crazier. But, and I went to my massage therapist, and she said, yeah, that's, we talked about it. I was like, yeah, like even my feet were cramping. And I was like, yeah, at night. And she's like, yeah, you're under, it's a stress. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I know. So catch flight. Yeah. So I am speaking from knowing it, and it has to be a regular part of your life. At that point, I was not, I want to say, I don't think I was doing much movement. So for me, and for my clients, I'm not just saying meditation is, that's the only thing. So let's quickly go through, because I've talked about this before. What we need is, we need exercise that will absolutely help you with your stress. We need the right amount of sleep, good food, healthy food, not junk food, not deep fried food that taxes your liver. Many of you watching this, oh, I was on another channel, and the woman was talking about, it was another country, and the woman said, oh, well, to get that feeling that you're back home in America, are there any fast food places? And I'm sorry, I was I was pissed, because I'm just like, what is it? The fast food is poison. It should just say poison for sale. Okay. So this woman was asking this other woman in the chat, oh, hey, you're missing America. Why can you find a fast food place? Fast food is killing us. Fast food is killing us. It is the worst type of oil that is reused over and over and over. It's not about your health. It's about it tasting good. They don't care what's in it. They don't care that this is bad for you, right? So she's like, oh yeah, can't you find a McDonald's or an Arby's? That'll make you feel like you're back home in America. No, it is toxifying our livers. And so back to House of Brown, I think that you may have some sort of liver energy as well, because that has very much to do with the muscles tightening and tension in the body. And so that tightening, then squeezing on the nerve, causing you pain. Okay. So yeah, so let's see. Donna, thank you for your comments. Share your comments. Donna says, I've definitely been ignoring my stress. Yeah, oh, Donna, I am so sorry. Well, Donna, you have not taken the mindfulness, and I apologize. You know, I changed the name of my program. Let's just call it my meditation program, because it was Intro to Mindfulness, which was boring. Okay, then I named it something else. Then now it's Soulful Mindfulness. But if you hear me talk about the Mindful Meridian method, because I wanted to give it a brand name, to be honest with you, it's the same thing. The Mindful Meridian method, mindful because I'm mixing in the mindfulness, teaching you how to meditate. And then the meridian is where I'm teaching you the acupressure points and a sequence of how to do them. So I apologize. Just say, did you take meditation with me, Donna? Because you need to sign up for it. It will absolutely help you with your high blood pressure. But, thank you for sharing that. As I said, high blood pressure, I'll say it for the folks in the back, is used as a marker to measure the level of stress of a population. And so African Americans, Black folks, specifically in America, not in Ghana, not in Nigeria, have some of the highest levels of high blood pressure in the world. Okay? Did the folks in the back hear that? All right. So we have to stop, because I did that. My friend who died did that. Okay. He had multiple health issues and he would ignore them. Not all of them. I'm not trying to slander him, but a lot of them, his way of coping was to ignore them. Rather than lifestyle. He would do medical stuff. He'd do medical. Would he listen to even what his doctor told him? I'm going to go there. So I love this guy. You guys know I'm talking about, basically, he was like a brother to me. At his funeral reception service, we were in a restaurant. We did a whole thing, like catered a thing, and everybody came in New York City. And his boss told me that he said to her, oh, the doctor told me I need to stop eating the deep fried foods and this and this. And he laughed and he's like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go home and I'm going to have some this and this and some biscuits. And it made me so sad. And she laughed because she goes, the doctor specifically, because it's cholesterol. And don't go there with those people who are trying to convince you that you should eat all fatty foods and that's fine. That's bullshit. We're not in paleo times. We're not getting that level of exercise, okay? And the meats are different. than 10,000 years ago. Okay. So anyway, I'm not going off topic. I'm just saying to you the self stuff that we can do, we have to do, because these Western medical doctors, they'll do what they can, but they don't tend to even tell you lifestyle. Why? Because people don't do the lifestyle. Imagine if you're a doctor, you out of 100 of your patients, you tell them maybe 5 of them do the lifestyle stuff out of 100. So I think a lot of doctors are like, yeah, okay, here's the script. I'm just, yeah, write it up here, get that, and I'll see you next year. Can you blame them? And as we know, Black and brown people are healthcare, especially if you are not well-to-do. Okay, like I said, I'm really going there today. You're not going to get good healthcare. So even what the West could do, you're not going to get it, right? Your insurance may not pay for it, things like that. So we have to focus on our self-care. We have to focus on our self-care. Yeah. So the muscles, yeah, want to take flight. So a lot of any of you listening to this, especially in the future, when you have a lot of leg cramping, of course, check with your doctor. Some of that, of course, could be nutritional deficiencies, which goes back to stress too, goes back to income. It's all tied in. I'm not saying none of that it's absolutely there. Yeah. So all of this is to say, I'm going to put my program in there. It's usually a small group. I'm not packing in 300 people. Okay. Even I wouldn't pack in. Hold on. Let me put, yeah, the meats aren't exactly. Listen, it's not the antelope or the deer that an ancestor or the cow. It's not that. Come on. It's not. Back in the day, cows were probably like small. They give you a little bit of milk. It was nice. It tasted fresh. This is not what we're having now. We're having cows. Listen, a friend of mine's husband at the time, when I was a professor, a fellow professor, her husband worked for like inspection of milk cows. Because I'm in upstate New York, you guys. I'm in fairly, not a rural area, but we still had some farms. And he said, if you saw, just in general, fresh milk, what was in fresh milk, and he's not even talking about the hormones, but just the level of blood, pus. I'm sorry, I know this is disgusting, but again, pus, blood, all of that gets into the milk. Again, not even talking about the hormones. That's filtered out, of course, right? That's pasteurized, right? Many people say that pasteurization is bad. So I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the level of hormones that they give to these cows so they produce milk continuously, so that they're constantly giving milk. Constantly, right? They're being fed hormones. And what do you think happens to us, Black women especially, to our reproductive tissue, our breast tissue, our ovaries, when we're getting all of that in our food, right? You see how I'm ranging quite wide in this because it's multifactorial, okay? It's not just one thing. Yeah, the meats they're not that lean, gamey, fresh, from the woods and just nibbling on grass. The cows now are eating corn, right? They're not eating even what they were meant to eat. And then they're being pumped with hormones. And you're going to go paleo. And especially for Black folks. And with any fried stuff, no, your heart and your liver are going to tell you this is horrible. So let me go back. Let me stop my rampage. I haven't taken it, but I actually feel like I need it now because I've been doing is not it. Well, keep doing your yoga, Donna, and even like I said, because my program is small, we can address each person. All right, I can make that a promise. So please consider investing in me. If you like the channel, you like what I do, if you like the free stuff, consider taking, and I just put it in the chat here, In the Flow of Magic /courses. That's too long. Just go to In the Flow of Magic. And you'll see under programs, it is an 8-week program. I think I set it for Saturday because most of us, a goddess said to me, well, you have your stuff on Sunday, right? And I have women coming from church and then they're coming to some of my woo-woo stuff. But, I was like, no, you're right. That's a difficult time. I like Sunday morning. She said, why don't you do some stuff on Saturday? Okay. So this one I did Saturday, I think at 11 Eastern. So yes, my West Coast ladies, you're going to get up at 8. You're going to get up at 8 o'clock, right? So don't be mad at me. So in this program, and if you want, the women who enroll, if you want me to put in some yoga, I can, but it is primarily learning mindfulness meditation, and we practice it. So from the very first session, you're going to feel amazing. That is my promise to you. And then as we go through the 8 weeks, you're going to have different tools that you can do. We start with relaxation. And yes, there are relaxation videos on YouTube. You can find some on my channel, but you're going to find out when should I do the relaxation. You're going to practice doing it. You're going to have my guidance, not just watching me recorded, right? You're going to be like, oh, Viv, yeah, I have a pain in my butt. What is that? Oh, maybe it's sciatic. Have you done this type of stretch? What's happening? What are you eating? Did you have fried food last night? Right? A lot of times the fried food, goddesses, you don't feel it right away. But when you feel that heaviness, you know what we call that. I'm not going to say that on YouTube. Something itis. It's too much fried. It's fried, and it's too much for your liver to break down without really working hard. And so you feel heavy, you feel lethargic, you feel tired. That is a sign that the meal you just ate was too heavy for you. Okay. So again, if you have lupus, you're having high blood pressure, heart issues, and this is even Western medicine saying stress, which is what I'm talking about. As I said, I'm not a doctor. I'm talking about the stress. It's being shown and proven how meditation can help. And I think many of us just are still not up to it yet. We're kind of up to yoga. Meditation is an evolution of the yoga practice to work not just with the body, mind, but more the mind, the spirit. Okay. So let's see what she's saying here. Sarsaparilla tea and dandelion in the morning. You know, I don't know as much. What does sarsaparilla do? Dandelion will help the liver. So yes, dandelion is good for that. And then, you know, again, talk to your doctor if you have a serious health issue, but like the over-the-counter dandelion tea is going to be fine. Sarsaparilla, what does that do? I'd love to know more about that. Jasmine. Hey, Jasmine. Yeah, I hadn't looked at the name most of the time. Yeah, they don't really care about the taste. Well, the taste of our foods in America are artificially enhanced. There are scientists. I find this so disgusting. If I were a food scientist, you guys, think about what that means, a food scientist. Among other things, it means I study how to stimulate your taste buds such that the food is so delicious to you that you cannot stop eating it. I always give the example of Pringles because it does make me angry. I don't buy, you know, that comes in the tube. I don't buy it because if I buy it, I've literally had Pringles like 3 or 4 times in my life. I noticed I would buy Pringles and I would just eat the whole thing. I could not stop eating one. And you know, I'm talking about they're stacked. I couldn't not eat it. And then come to find out, you know, years later, I didn't know at the time. I'm talking my 20s and then even in my 30s, I didn't know. A food scientist, their work is to create salty, sweet, enough sour, a little bit of bitter, such that you have one chip and you cannot stop. Your body is like, give me more, give me more, give me more. A lot of us, and this is not just Black and brown women here, I was seeing this study, I think it was New York Times, talking about how we sometimes think that obesity is willpower. There's an element of willpower. Food scientists, okay, give me a thumbs up here. Give me some hearts. Let me know you're with me. Their job, they have made food, they're calling it food, that literally shuts off your brain receptors to tell you that you are full. So the food that you might think is so tasty, or that your girlfriend thinks is so tasty, your grandma, mom grew up on, it's because it literally it has extra to make it that flavorful, but to artificially do that. But then it also, when you can't stop eating it, has ingredients that push down your awareness of, I'm really full right now. If you just had a big bowl of rice and beans, how many rice and beans are you going to eat with some plantains? You had some plantains, you had a little bit of beef, a little bit, you had some rice and beans, and you had some plantains. You're not going to overeat. If you throw in and you go to a fast food place, you're going to overeat. Why? The rice and black beans or the pinto beans or whatever, right? Or the black eyed peas, they were natural. They don't have anything in them to make you literally not able to stop eating. So get this, we need to get this out more into our communities. I think a lot of people don't think of it. So when, you're suffering with obesity, you want to lose weight and you're struggling, blame the food, not just oh, I eat too much. It's like, no, the food you're choosing. Like, does anybody overeat oranges? Let me ask you, do you find that you're eating 10 oranges? No. Why don't we eat 10 oranges? Because you have an orange, you may have 2, and you're like, that was good, that was good, that was delicious, it was so refreshing. And then you stop. You stop eating it. When a food is artificial, there is no stop. There's no stop. Yeah, what we perceive as hunger is really just certain hormones being activated. It's not, yeah, but I'm also saying the converse, the opposite, meaning your brain would tell you you're full now. The size of your stomach, the weight of the food, all of that, your brain is like, okay, I should be full. It's also kind of shutting off those signals. So whether it's like you're saying, making you feel more hungry, insatiable, like you can't get enough. So it does it in both ways, right? It's so good, you can't stop eating it, and then and shutting off the things that your brain would say, oh, wow, you had a whole plate. You had some liquid. Good for you. Good on you. Let's stop now and let's digest that. And so it isn't just self-control. It's the food is almost literally programmed to have this impact on our bodies, right? So it is terrible. Now, Ameristar, hey, Ameristar, as I said that, I probably was thinking of you because I'm like, there's going to be somebody out there who, yeah, I can eat and it didn't get mangoes, but yeah, I can eat 5 oranges. But again, you eat 10 mangoes, you've overdosed on antioxidants and vitamin C, right? There's like no fat. Is it like, there's a tiny percentage of fat in a mango? I don't even think so. So yes, in Ameristar, it depends. What is your diet? Are you vegan, right? So when you're vegan and vegetarian, folks, you often have to eat more because the food has more fiber. And so you have to eat more sometimes to get the amount of nutrients. So yeah, 10 mangoes is not going to kill anybody. Exactly. But imagine you ate a pack of 10 potato chips. I mean, you literally would probably throw up. Imagine, I'm talking about Pringles here. Hopefully they won't come after me. If you ate three of those stacks of Pringles, how you'd feel. Oh, you're joking. Okay. I could eat 2 mangoes. If I was just going like fruit and being very light, I could have 2 and possibly even 3 mangoes, depending how big they are. The little Atalfo mangoes, Ameristar, do you know the Atalfo mangoes? They're like this big, they're tiny. Could eat 3 of those easily. Yeah, I could eat 3 of those. They're quite small. They're like the size of a small avocado and kind of long, like a little longer. And they're good. They're good. But anyway, if you are vegan, you might literally sit down and have 3 mangoes, right? You might have like 2 bananas, that's very different. But yeah. Okay, food humor. All right, this is serious. All right. So don't ignore that you're under stress. And again, I'm inviting you to take my program that starts October 5th. And right now it's at the sale level of $129, which if you divide it by 8 is, God, I have no idea. Okay, I am not a mathematician, people. And I will work with you in there. So if you have high blood pressure, find your health is deteriorating, you're having headaches, you have migraines, don't ignore physical symptoms. See your doctor. All of that, work on the stress that is the underlying cause. I promise you it can have a very, very positive impact. Not that it can, it will. So check out my program at my website, intheflowofmagic.com. Stop minimizing your stress, because when it becomes chronic stress, oh no, big long. That's what I'm saying. Big long. Hold on. Is you cannot stop eating it. Right. And thank you. Great name, by the way. Lovely. I love the kind of Elvis-like sideburns, or like making me think of like the late 60s into the 70s. 3 stacks of Pringles. Yeah, they are designed to do that. That's what I'm saying. It's not a choice. My friend, the friend who passed away, he's like, no, I like sugar. We would argue about this. Because we'd go, let me give you a little story. We'd go out to a diner, and he'd get coffee, and he'd take all the sugar, like the 5, they have the sugar in the little container, right? In the US, in the diner. He'd open all the packs, dump it in. The waitress would come back. He's like, can I get more sugar? And the waitress is like, she'd look at the table. Oh, I thought I had sugar there. I'd be like, you did. He needs more. And he'd say to me, he'd argue the point with me. This is my friend who had terrible health issues that he wasn't taking seriously. He'd laugh, and we'd just laugh. But I'm like, you need to cut down on your sugar. Like, this is not healthy for you. It affects everything. And the waitress would bring more sugar, and she'd just be like, I knew I had packs of sugar, and she'd stuff that in there, and you'd have your sweet and low and your whatever, right? But respect yourself enough, goddesses. Big long D. The 3 stacks of Pringles, it's easy because it is chemically designed so that you cannot stop eating it. So it's not a choice. We kind of laugh when we think it's a choice, and that's where I was going with this. My friend's like, no, I like sweets. And I'd say to him, if it's just a like and not an addiction, can you not have sweets? And what I found, being very honest with you, he would go through phases, maybe a week, where he wouldn't have any sweets, and he'd be like, yeah, I'm not craving it. But once he had one sweet, then he'd have packets of like biscotti and cookies and cakes. He'd get back because it is addictive. So anyway, I'm talking to women here about my program specifically. The soulful mindfulness, which is combining the holistic health practices, specifically acupressure points for stress, for sleep, and all of that for relaxation, with learning how to meditate. So if you're watching this and you have not enrolled yet, no excuses, right? This is the work I do. And my mission, I can't help you, right? If you're not willing to invest in yourself, if you have a health problem and you're not willing to take a program and learn how to support your health, how to do self-loving, holistic, and spiritual practices, and like I said, if you really are low income, write to me and say, Viv, I want to study with you. Check out the program. If you want to study with me, write me and say, hey, I'm unemployed. I don't have savings, and I'm unemployed. Or I'm low income. I do not have. If you have savings, it would be worth investing. As I said, the program is $129 now. That's the early enrollment, and many of you should be in it. If you have high blood pressure, if you have lupus, you have IBS, you have reproductive issues, all of that are stress related. If you're having trouble sleeping, many of you, and so another client of mine, I'm thinking of one in particular, but this is very common. You have trouble sleeping. I had a dear friend I was practicing language with, and they regularly took sleep medication. You should not have to regularly take sleep medication. That means your body is not well. You are not well. It is not a serious issue at that point, okay? If you can't sleep, but it can become one. So if you have to take medications to sleep, that means you are not well. It means that after seeing your doctor, taking care of all you can medically, you want to get your stress under control, because it means, let me talk about that briefly. Those of you who have insomnia is your body is so hyped up for whatever reason. It could be as simple, to be really honest, it could be as simple as you just have too much coffee and you cannot tolerate it. So it could be that. It could be you stopping coffee. But I hope I'll remember to come back to that. But your body is so hyped up, so full of adrenaline, so full of cortisol, that the cycle of when it needs to kind of come back down into night, the darkness, rest, your body is too amped up and can't come down. And that is not good. That is a sign of stress. Percival, can you not, Percival? I don't know if you can hear him. He's destroying a sofa, which is what cats do. Yeah, and he just went behind me. Did you guys see that? He just went behind me. So insomnia is nothing also to be ignored. It's an early sign that you're out of balance, okay? And that you need ways to manage your stress. So check out my program at my website. Enroll. It is reasonable. Most of you watching this could absolutely afford to take it. All right. So you have to ask yourself, why am I not investing in practices? Here's this woman I trust. I like her on YouTube. I love her videos. And yet I'm just going to ignore the fact that I have to have 3 drinks when I come home to de-stress. Right. So take your stress seriously. I want to take it seriously. All right. Take your stress seriously. Don't ignore it. Insomnia is usually like the most minimal sign that you're stressed. What are other signs you're stressed? Guys, share with me in the chat before I go. What are other signs that you see or you think of? Because maybe I'm missing some of them. Yeah, like I said, sleep is one of the main ones. Just feeling anxious, sometimes racing heartbeats, right? Feeling nervous. Let me go back to the thing where I said, well, you could just stop coffee. It's not so simple. So let's break that down. And again, if you're bored, if this isn't for you, then do go. Because here I am, I'm saying, maybe you don't need to study with me. You're having trouble sleeping because you drink too much coffee. But why do you drink too much coffee? It's deeper than that. You might say, oh, Viv, I just love coffee. Most of you, if you're honest, and you have 2-3 cups of coffee, you'll say, no, I need the coffee. Viv, I need to have coffee to really get through the day. What that tells me as a holistic practitioner and educator is your body is lacking the energy to get through a work day. Just looking at my landlord, I think he's going to mow the lawn. Okay. So he's moving stuff, and you might hear some noise, but my window's closed, so it should be okay. So it means your adrenals, you're a bit burnt out, and you're needing like 2 cups of coffee to get through your workday. One, that means the work may really not suit you, but I'm not saying to you to quit your job just based on that, but meditation will help you have a more steady, balanced energy. It'll also help you see what's imbalanced in your life that you can fix. That's what meditation does. That's among the benefits. So it's not as simple for those of you with insomnia. When I say, well, stop coffee, you'll hit upon, I need the coffee to keep going, which points to the deeper issue, as I said. So there's a deeper issue there. You get busier when you're stressed. Yeah. Hey, Anne. Talleyrand. That's a pretty name. You get busier when you're stressed. That's interesting. Meditation, one of the things it does, my in my I think it was in the last session, the session before of this, I had a woman very, very busy, executive type level, and she noticed it, what I had promised. I said, if you study meditation with me, and even not with me, if you really practice meditation properly, you will notice that your day, instead of feeling busy, like you're running from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing, and you're behind, you'll start feeling like, oh, same schedule. Okay, finished. And you'll be able to feel spaciousness. And I compared it to the Matrix again, because a lot of you haven't heard me say this. You know how in the Matrix there was this element where they'd slow down and they could kind of stop time? When you meditate, and I'm not going to try to explain it here why, but when you meditate regularly and properly, it's like you open time, and time kind of feels more spacious, so that the exact same activities you had to do at your job and with your kids and with your partner, and you got to pick them up and they got to go to this practice, and then you have that, and then you had the therapist appointment, but then you have this other doctor's appointment. You feel the time feels like you have more of it. Instead of feeling like this, it's like this. Okay. Like I said, I'm not going to explain why now, because I think it gets too off topic and I'll lose some of you, but that is what happens. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe for you, it's more anxious or slightly compulsive behaviors. Exactly. No, Jasmine. So, yeah, for some women, it's like for me, I will turn to sweets. I turn to sweets. Here's why, because sweets give you short term energy. Why is it when you associate sweets, you think more of women, right? You don't think of men as much loving sweets and candy and stuff. You think of it as more a female thing. I don't know, but it does give us this lift. Sugar gives you a lift of energy, but then it gives you that crash, right? So many of us, diabetic, pre-diabetic, but we're using the sugar to keep us going. In holistic systems, diabetes is considered really an overall sort of failure of the health. It's a failure of the body to get the energy from the food properly. So it's almost not a bigger issue, but it's a whole issue of the body sort of dysregulating. So Jasmine, I invite you to enroll in my program. I'd love to see you there. And if you have not taken it, check it out on the page. I'll put it back up. My website is intheflowofmagic.com. It's 8 weeks. It runs on a Saturday morning, but it is recorded. So if you have to miss 1 or 2, that's fine. I would not miss more than 2. I don't want your money and then you're not going to come. Okay. We all know, I have done this, not recently. Like some of us sign up for a gym. We all know that story, right? At the beginning of the year, the gym makes all its money. Everybody signs up. I'm going to run 20 miles. Yeah. Right. And then we don't go. So enroll in my program if you really want to grow spiritually, because mindfulness meditation gives you the base for all of the spiritual growth that you're wanting. And then, as I said, these subtle, powerful points that I will teach, and you'll have my support. If you have other questions, we can work them in, because, unless the group is huge, okay, which it has not been. Like I said, I'm not packing in 200 people. Some of you may have taken online courses where it's a course and you see the teacher a few times. That's not what this is. I teach live, privately with you on Zoom. You have my attention. You can ask me your questions. You get to know the other ladies over time, right? Because it's 8 weeks. And so you will get the attention that you want. And yeah, nice meeting you. My body wants to amp up activity to keep up with my brain when I'm stressed. Yeah. And stimulants help you focus. Right. But that is actually a stress response. You know how the West is now, everybody has a label. Yeah, ADD. Oh, I have hyperfocus. Maybe you have hyperfocus, ADD, right? A friend of mine was telling me, I'm like, what the hell is that? If you have ADD, but you have hyperfocus? And she explained it, and I think I have it. I'm like, oh, wait, I have that. But that's what I think I have, like, everything. Especially when I was younger, I would be like, I'd look up different symptoms. I'm like, and different things. I'm like, yeah, no, I think I have that. Maybe I did. Yeah. I'm like, I have, oh, you do have that? Yeah. Well, it sounded like it. And when you said that, when you described, it's like, that might be the hyperfocus girl. Okay. So you need to learn how to meditate, because you will probably have the focus, but your mind is racing. Yeah. The mind is racing. Yeah. You would benefit from it. You're scattered yet focused. I'm laughing because that is funny. It's, meditation for you, Anne, would give you, like I said, this sense of when you're focused, you really would be hyper-focused, but you wouldn't be scattered. The scattered part would drop away with training, with what I'm teaching. So yeah, and consider it, check it out. I'm inviting you check it out. You would definitely benefit from it. But yeah, I have that. It could make you very successful. Think of it. Think of like all these, especially the males, because I think it's also, it happens a lot in men, this sort of the hyper focus, almost like an obsessive focus on their thing, whether it's cars or whatever, right? The stock market, and they're antisocial, or they're not really good with their family. And we all know types like that, right? They just work really hard. It's that hyper focus. So it can lead to a lot of success in the world. But of course, as women, we have to really look at, is that only what I want? Is it just work and money success that I want, or do I want to balance my life? Yeah. Oh, Anne, thank you. Thank you so much, honey. That's very sweet. People tell me that. People tell me that. So again, who's coming? Give me a yes if you are enrolling. As I said, if it's $129 right now, that is early enrollment, and the full price is $179. It's 8 sessions. We meet for about an hour to an hour, 15 minutes. So I have time for your questions. What I have been doing is I'll lead and we'll do everything. And then if you have questions, you can stay at the end, or if you have to go. All right. The sessions are recorded. You are learning how to work with your mind. You're learning how to work with your emotions. Okay. And I'll close with this. I had an older woman, my age. Can't call people older if they, you know what I'm saying. Older relative to the span of life, people. Okay. She's like my age, because she'd smack me if she's like, what, Viv? What are you calling me older? Okay. Anyway. And she took this program with me, the mindfulness program, the meditation program. She loved it so much. And you were invited to repeat. Like, you can repeat. Hold on. And I have not quite figured out if usually it's a lower price to repeat. Okay. And I'm just watching Percival about to do something. And she loved it so much. She had her two of her children come and take this program. Okay. And one of her children was a nurse and really took to it very, very well. So just to show you how powerful this is, she's like, my children, they need this, right? They're doing different things, but I really want them to learn with you and to take this program. So she repeated it, which I encourage, like I said, because you keep deepening, you get deeper and deeper in your meditation, you become more tuned in. But her 2 children came and took it that time, went through the 8 with me, learned, and then they're off on their own. But they reported like the benefits that they felt. Like I said, one of them was a nurse, and any of you nurses here, this can be very, very helpful for you. So again, chronic stress that we went over, there are 3 types of stress. Acute stress, which is real short term, something is stressing you. You're stuck in a traffic jam, but it can be longer, right? You're having a fight with someone, that's stressful. Episodic stress is that acute stress, but it keeps happening where you don't really have time to recover. It happens over time, over and over. Episodic acute stress, which I was not familiar with as a term. I just figured that's still acute stress, but then it becomes chronic. And that's, again, because I care about you guys and I care about us taking care of this. Chronic stress is long-term stress that goes on for weeks and months. If you're going through a divorce, marriage troubles, you have a child that's very ill, right? And requires, extra care. One of my first coaching clients had a special needs child, and that was a lot of stress for her, right? And does the partner support you in taking care of the child properly? Issues at work, which for many of us is the toxic stress we're having, and then financial problems, okay? Where we just feel like we can't get out from under the financial burdens. So again, if you have the financial burdens, write to me and we can work out a plan for you if you are truly low income, if you need it. So with that, again, I'm going to peace out, and don't ignore your stress. And especially when it's becoming chronic, when it's becoming ongoing, do something. You have to do some nurse. See, I didn't know that, Anne, because you came in after. I was talking about nurses before. I really believe in synchronicity. So, Anne, check out my program. It is Saturday mornings. Now, I know as a nurse, often you have rotating, so I know that can be an issue. But my program is on Saturday morning. It is recorded. So, um, you know, check it out. But yeah, I really appreciate that. Nurses, I always say, when both my parents were in the hospital over years as they got older, it was the nurses, not the doctors, that I appreciated, because the nurses were the one who, that direct patient contact, right? That like, to me, it's like this, they kind of, the ones loving and caring, and then the next level down, and it was primarily women. They were the backbone of the medical system. So, Anne, yeah, I was talking, you would fall into that very likely, the chronic stress. I was talking about from Cleveland Clinic, from their website. They said it's often healthcare providers. They have the episodic acute stress where they have a stress, then there's a little break, but it happens over a long time, and then that becomes chronic stress. So consider studying with me. Your birthday is coming up, Jasmine. Yeah. And so, Jasmine, this is something absolutely that you'll have for your whole life. It will be a basis for any other type of spiritual or holistic practices you do. Like any of you goddesses who already do yoga, meditation is the next step after yoga. Meditation is the next step after yoga. Okay. So, yeah, you would have to plan. Yeah. Jasmine, wait, are you a nurse too? Wait a minute. Okay. Yeah, if you are Pacific time, absolutely, absolutely. Now I'm going to say this, I'm not a morning person, so I don't want to lie, because I really am a night person. Because so 8 would be early for me, but when I do get up early, and this is my, that you can do it. Something about the sunrise and that energy at the start of the day, it's said to be the most spiritual time of the day, and I could see that. You're working with the energy of the sun. Everything's coming awake, coming alive. So that early morning, if you can get yourself up, get some matcha, get some black tea or some green tea. Oh, you're a business owner. Girl, you can get up. Come on now. Unless you work overnight. Like if you like own a restaurant or manage a restaurant or something. Yeah. If it's like your restaurant, I know, and I don't know why I say that, but restaurants, I know specifically, it's very night oriented. I was watching something about cooks, and they were saying how hard it is for them because they're coming in at like 3 or 4 in the morning. Yeah, that's okay. So, Jasmine, what you would do if you have, a baby, you have an infant, you'd be silent on the Zoom, right? We could see you if you want. If you want, I don't want to scare anybody off, because a lot of us are very sensitive. Oh, I don't know, my hair. It's private, y'all. It does not go on YouTube. It is a private, small group. Yeah, you would just mute yourself. So if the baby cried, obviously, but meditation is going to make you more calm with your baby, Jasmine. I can promise you that. Yeah, it will absolutely. I'm looking down because I'm looking at her question and kind of tuning in. That's the greatest gift. Someone wrote me, just beautiful sister. And I think in the picture, she had her maybe 4 or 5-year-old with her. And she's like, Viv, I do your meditations with my daughter. And I was so touched. By that, because like I said, when I'm on these videos, I don't know you. I don't get to see you. I don't get to hear, how you're using anything I put out. But she said, oh yeah, I use your meditations with my daughter. It's so wonderful. And I felt so good. That was really nice. Yeah, Jasmine, you would just be on mute. Now everybody's on mute. Listen, because if you're going to cough and interrupt, we're meditating. I can mute everybody too. So we don't want to hear your doorbell and you're getting an Amazon delivery. I'm serious here now. I'm serious. I'm joking, but I'm serious. So yeah, all the students, the clients, whatever, you guys are muted unless you have a question. So yeah, if you have a baby, I'm trying to think of what cases that's happened. Any reason, one goddess who was studying, I was talking about chakras. She had 2 small children, And very occasionally they'd come on camera. They were adorable. She knows Janae. I'm talking about Gigi. I don't know if Gigi, if you're here, her little babies would come on camera and be cute, be behind her. But yeah, she'd be muted so that, it wouldn't interrupt. So anyway, do check it out. Do enroll. It is open to all women. All right. It is open to all women. It is a safe space, though. Don't feel like, you're going to be fine in it. It's primarily, my audience is maybe 70% African American women, and then 30% everybody else, and my belief, I've always been the type of person where I've just always liked all different types of people to be together. I'm not saying rednecks. I'm not. No. But I'm saying even growing up, my friend group would always be very diverse. So I really want to keep my programs that way, rather than saying it is only for Black women. Of course, within that, we are diverse as well. But I want to leave it, the limit is women. I feel that I can work with and help women. We have more in common. And I also feel that we need to be in groups together, women of all different backgrounds, because even sometimes in my group, it may be, a woman who's a nurse and a retired woman, and then a woman who's like 20. And so even just that age diversity, right? Maybe I won't even use the word diversity, but that it brings a different energy. In fact, the woman that I'm speaking of, who had her two children come and take the program, and obviously they were girls because I've said it is for women, so I can say that, her two daughters, she would often say really beautiful, helpful things, wise things to some of the younger women in the group. And I am actually encouraging her to kind of study and become kind of a leader more in the community, because she very much cares about children, Black children specifically, in poorer communities. So I'm just addressing the fact that I like to have a diverse group of women, because I think we need to also learn how to be in safe space together. And if somebody likes me and vibes with me, then they're going to be cool. And I've never had a problem in my groups. In fact, the one time I had a problem was someone who was not female. I'm going to leave it there, but that's when I had a problem, honestly. This person had a particular issue. Some of you can guess and they didn't identify as female. And it became a little bit about that, when that's not what this particular group was about, specifically. But if so it is for women. I think if you've, lived your life as a woman. And again, the reason I'm emphasizing that is because I do think we have certain experiences. So especially if you've lived your whole life as a woman in a female body, whatever, I think there's certain energetics as well. All right. But I've never had a problem, other than this person who was a person of color, but who had issues around being female and started to create a problem in the group. Other than that, I have never had a problem in any of my programs. I'm just thinking of all my online ones, and never in my class programs. So Jasmine, I look forward to seeing you. Anne, that's weird that I went back to talking about nurses. And like I said, I care, and I want to see that you guys are committed, to your own self-care, because I feel like I'm out here, I don't want to feel like I'm preaching to the wind, like it just goes to the wind. So invest in yourself. If you've taken my meditation course under whatever name and you want to re-enroll, I think I do it at like half price. I don't remember how I said it last time. And so reach out to me if you want to repeat it, because it's always different. And you'll go deeper the second time. All right. We'll go over the same material, but if you took the early versions of the program, I didn't do a lot of acupressure points. So if you took it when it was just meditation, definitely take it again, right? Because I'm slightly shifting it. So yeah, I look forward to seeing you in it. And I will be continuing my 28 days, my 28 yays of mindfulness, stress and anxiety, and how it all weaves together. So let's call this day 3, because I think I put out 2 videos. I put out a longer one about can mindfulness meditation help racial trauma. And then I put out a short, same topic. So I know that was weird. You're not watching the channel that much that you know, but that was weird because they were on the same thing. This is 3, because I did weave in mindfulness here, or how it can help. And then I'm going to do this for 28 days. Now, my program starts October 5th. 5 is my lucky number. Yep, is that right? And 5 is a Saturday. 5 is definitely my lucky number in all systems. I come up, I'm a 5. I just vibe with that number. I don't know why, but yeah. So I look forward to serving you in there, and you really stepping forward and saying, yes, I really want to learn this. I want to learn how to meditate. It isn't, it's for me. It's not just for like rich folks or only this type of people meditate. That's like foolishness. Just wipe that out of your head. Maybe I'll make a video also about talking about religion and meditation. There may be a few of you who feel like, oh, well, if I'm Catholic, can I meditate? I don't think that's many of you. Or I'm Christian, can I meditate? I'll make a video addressing that, like a short. Of course you can. I always give the example. I'm like, look, I go eat in a Chinese restaurant or go eat Italian food, and I'm like, this is delicious. I'm loving it. I have tiramisu. Do I come out Italian? No. Do I come out Chinese after eating at this Chinese restaurant? No. The same way, and the way I'm teaching the mindfulness meditation, it is not a religious practice. It's not sectarian. I'm not teaching it as a Buddhist practice. I'm not teaching it as a Muslim practice. Okay. When you hear mindfulness meditation, it is taught as a sort of general, for anybody who has a mind. Anybody who has a mind, a body, and human stress. So on that note, love you guys. I'm going to probably go check in on Our Black Utopia. I really love them. They've moved to Portugal. They are a couple, probably around my age, husband and wife, and they moved to Portugal. So I'm going to go check them out if you're interested at all in living abroad. Love their channel. And again, thank you so much for being here. If you have questions, because the chat's going to end now, so put it in the comments. If you have any questions, or reach out to me. It's assistant. It's not my name, but it's assistant. It'll get to me at intheflowofmagic.com. And I named it that because I truly believe we can live our lives in the flow. And it's something I am working on, but I truly believe we're being held by spirit. Okay. And I'm going to talk about that actually in a recent, oh, you're welcome, in an upcoming video. I think we can fight to manifest, or can we align being in the flow, which is divine will, with our will. Okay. So I truly believe that when we are in sync, our life is much more in flow. And I think my underlying mission is to help get humans in general into such harmony with life, with spirit, with nature, that our lives are more flowing. So that's kind of my big mission, I would say. All right. Love you. Thank you so much for watching up to this time. And I really appreciate you. And as I said, if you're low income, but you're interested in learning mindfulness and in learning how to manage your stress, your emotions, thoughts, reach out to me and we can work something out for you if you are low income, okay? Because I don't want to leave anybody out, as long as you are truly serious, as long as you will come, you'll attend, okay? Then do reach out to me about it. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.